You can't trust them. Some of them may be good, but too many of them have a hidden agenda.
Sound familiar? This is the rhetoric of fearmongers that has driven societies towards discrimination and genocide. It surrounded Executive Order 9066, when 120,000 Japanese Americans were sentenced to internment camps. And the Rwandan genocide, when the Hutus were told by political figures that the Tutsi were people full of hatred, dangerous, and dishonest. And, of course, the Holocaust, when Nazi propaganda called Jews dishonest and untrustworthy in their dealings. Today, the Islamophobic industry is spouting the same rhetoric about 1.6 billion Muslims, except they say that Islamic doctrine requires Muslims to lie. It's time to debunk these myths. Let's take it from the top.
Sharia is a barbaric code of laws. It deprives women of rights and preaches backward punishments.
Not quite, angry Islamophobe. Sharia is actually a path towards God that aims to establish mercy, justice, and wisdom in people's lives. It always requires fiqh, which means scholars interpret how best to apply those rulings based on the time and place they live in.
Jihad is holy war and terrorism to take over the world. Muslims want to kill us all.
No, Islam does not call for mass murder. Jihad means internally and externally striving for justice and truth for the sake of God. Islamophobes exploit Arabic words by reiterating perverted meanings assigned by terrorists. This ignores the mainstream Muslim interpretation and use of the words.
You're lying! Muslims are required to lie about their so-called peaceful religion. I know! It's called taqiyya!
Okay, let's break this down. Taqiyya is a ruling that allows Muslims to conceal their faith only if they are under the threat of religious persecution or fear for their life. And Islamic doctrine strongly condemns dishonesty. Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "There was no behavior more hateful to the messenger of God than dishonesty." So the ones who are really lying about Islamic doctrine here are not the Muslims, but the angry Islamophobes.
There's no such thing as Islamophobia. This is just a buzzword Muslims invented to shut down any critical discussions about Islam.
Actually, the Islamophobic use of the word taqiyya is what shuts down the Muslim perspective in any, quote, critical discussions. The Islamophobic strategy is to destroy Islam's credibility without allowing any room for rebuttal. They employ a catch-22 tactic.
Muslims are liars, and Islam is a terrible religion that calls for terrible acts based on these Islamic definitions. If you disagree with these definitions, you're lying, because Muslims are required by Islamic doctrine to employ taqiyya, so all Muslims are liars.
This leaves no room for Muslims to express the narrative of the vast majority of mainstream Muslims. The truth is, Islamophobes actually aren't concerned about any truths having to do with the Muslim community or Islam in the first place. They simply evade intelligent debate by calling all Muslims liars. Much like what was done to minority groups in the past, before they were persecuted and killed.